Okay, so to kind of introduce into stoichiometry, we're going to start with a recipe waffle. I'm sorry, a waffle recipe. And so what you can see in the ingredients list is that we have 3 cups of waffle mix, 2 eggs, 1 cup of milk, and it makes 12 waffles. So we had to kind of turn it into chemistry a little bit there. And so we have a chemical equation that's showing up here. And so a couple things to make note of is that you have 3 cups of waffle mix. So we represent that on the reactant side with a coefficient of 3. Then we have 2 eggs, which we represent with a coefficient of 2. 1 cup of milk, represent with a blank, which we know is a 1. You can always write in your ones if you'd like. And then we're making 12 waffles. So we have 12 as a coefficient on the product side. So you want to use those numbers. Those are going to play an important role here in a minute to kind of look at how much we're able to make. The whole point of stoichiometry is that we got to recognize that just because I have this many doesn't necessarily change this amount, right? And so if I have too much of one of them, it doesn't automatically help me make more waffles. We're limited by the one that we only have enough of. Right. And so that's the whole point of stoichiometry is we want to be able to look at one of our ingredients and figure out our products, or look at our products and figure out how much of the ingredients were used. Okay. So on this question, make sure you take note of what we just talked about. Okay, on this question, what we're seeing is I did still include our little waffle recipe, so you can still see that that's where the coefficients are coming from. And now we have the question that is asking, how many waffles can be made with 6 eggs, right? So if we have 6 eggs, we know that that's not what the recipe is specifying, right? It's saying that, okay, well, we have this much available, so therefore, how many could we make if it was just based on the eggs number? And we're going to see how that plays a role in limiting reactants in a few. So what you're going to do is we're still going to treat this like we were when we were doing conversions. Whatever we're giving you in the question is where you want to start. So we're going to take that 6 and we're going to put this into that first box. Then we have to put, okay, how many waffles can I make from the eggs? We're still going to bring the words down to the right. So we're going to bring the eggs down to the right. And we want to say, okay, if I have 2, then I know, according to this recipe, that I can make 12 waffles. So therefore, we can multiply 6 times 12 divided by 2, and we would get 36. You have a calculator available to you right there. You're going to do the rest of them like this. Little hint, you can also look at this recipe right here, and you can figure out, okay, if I need 2 for every 12 waffles, and I knew that I had 6, right? So 2 made 12 waffles. So if I had 6, how many could I make? You could set up a proportion like this, and that's fine to do to check your answer. However, make sure you come back to this and you're setting it up just like we were doing in conversions. Use that dimensional analysis. Once you get to question 6, we've now kind of changed it a little bit. Now we're saying that you have 18 cups of waffle mix, you have 8 eggs, you have 5 cups of milk. Determine how many waffles you can make with each ingredient. As in, if this was the all-deciding factor, how much could you make? So you're still going to treat it like you were beforehand, okay? So you're going to do that, the same thing here, right? And so you're going to fill these out just like we were, and then you're going to look at these, okay? Given these ingredients, how many waffles can you make? When you approach this question right here, you are asking yourself, what is the absolute most possible that I could make with just those ingredients? Which means that you should be picking the lowest one. Okay, so be careful on this. Maybe write out the recipe, like write it out, draw yourself some pictures, right? So if I have 18 cups of waffle mix and every single one needs 3, I know that the 18 cups of waffle mix and we only need 3, we could then say that we have, okay, that will make 6, right? For every 12, right? So 6 times 12, sorry. Okay. So you can kind of still treat it that way and just kind of figure it out individually. But then be sure, like I said before, come back down to the bottom part, and you need to be bringing words down to the right as dimensional analysis. In this final question, you're going to really be paying attention to this like it was a recipe, right? So we have a 2, a 4, and a 3. So determine the number of moles of iron produced from 12 moles of iron 3 oxide. Okay, so you're going to once again start with what you're given. You're going to put that into your first box. Then we need to bring words down to the right. This step right here is something kind of like what we were seeing before. How many waffles were we able to make, right? So if we were determining if this is what's going on the bottom, right? So moles of Fe2O3. Then on top, we need to put the moles of Fe. So now you're going to be looking at what are the coefficients that we find in the balanced equation, and you're going to put those into the right spots.